to 9th and 10th channel of BYJU'S. I'm your teacher Ankita and I welcome you all in today's session. Now today's session is really very special because we will be looking at the various components of the circulatory system. When we talk about the circulatory system, we just talk about the heart, is it? Now, well, in today's session, we will be learning more about it. We will be discussing about the blood and the blood vessels. So everyone in today's class, in a very small class, we all will be mastering the various components of the circulatory system. So please make sure to stay with us till the end. This video is recorded so that you can watch it at your own speed, and we will be making sure to cover each and every important point. So let's quickly get started. One of the important thing I want to let you know is that on this channel 9th and 10th, we make sure to provide you the quality education that will be helping you in your annual examination. Over here, we have some of the messages from our students from the previous batch and how they have enjoyed learning with us. So if you like this video, please make sure to hit that like button and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button also and join the family. Over here, we have the timetable that we follow on this channel so that you have the clarity what are the things happening throughout the week or throughout the day. So please make sure to take a screenshot of it so that you have a timetable with you and you know that when to join the class. So let's get started from here. Now that we are clear with the intro part, let me ask you a very interesting question. When we talk about the heart, the first thing that comes to our mind is that, it actually takes the blood and sends it to different parts of the body. In a simple way, we can say that. But there is an interesting analogy that we can use to understand the circulatory system. Now over here, what we have. Give me a minute, let me just have the... Yes, so we have this, right? Now what are we comparing over here? On one side, we have the water pump system, and on the other side, we have the circulatory system. Of course, you'll be like, ma'am, what are the similarities between these two? So let's understand this. Over here in the water pump system, of course, we need the motor. So what we have over here is the motor. Then, of course, we have the pipe. Of course, we have all of these things. Now, let's understand one thing. This motor will be helping in making sure that there's enough pressure so that the water can move through these pipes. Similarly, in our body, we have heart, which is a pumping organ. We call it as a pumping organ because it is the role or the important function of the heart to pump the blood to different parts of the body and into the veins and into the arteries. So let's understand this, right? So we have this. Then what we have in similar to the pipes, we have the arteries and the veins. And what is flowing through this pipe over here was water. And what we have over here is the blood. So there are similarities between a water pump system and our own circulatory system. So I hope that now you have the clarity that what is the important function of the heart and what are the different components that we will be taking a look into. So let's move ahead from here, right? We know that system that transport various material from one part to another. Of course, we know that we have our circulatory system over there. Now, let's understand then what are the components. As the first one, we have the blood, then we have blood vessels and the heart. So we know that heart is a pumping organ. Blood will be flowing through the blood vessels. So these are the three important components of our circulatory system. Now, of course, we have the comparison over here. Here we have the water. And over here, right, we can see that we have the water over here. And over here, we have the blood. Now that we are clear with this, let's understand that how this whole circulatory system works. But before that, there's a very important question. That what it carries, right? Your blood is moving, but what is carrying? It actually helps in carrying the material like gases, digestive food, waste material, etc. So it's a system that actually helps in the circulation of the material inside the human body. Now we are clear with this. Now we are clear that what we'll be learning. Let's take a look at the various different components. We're starting with the first component, and that is the blood. So what we have over here is a blood sample in a test tube. Now, what we'll be doing, we will be using a process of centrifugation. Now, in the process of centrifugation, what happens? With the very, very high speed, we will see that, right, these tubes will rotate, and upon the rotation, right, what will happen? We will see, right, there will be desegregation. Right over here, something similarly, we'll be able to see something like that. So what we have the fluid part, and then of course we have the cellular part. So we'll clearly see the separation of these two. So we have the separated components. Now let's see what are the important things that we have with the separate components. Here we have, when we talk about the separate components, we have plasma, platelets, we have WBCs and RBCs. Now let's take a look at all of these individually. Here we go. So the one thing which is super important, right, when we talk about the components of the blood, the first important component which make the majority of it is the plasma. Over here we can see that, right? Over here we can see that we have the plasma. Now plasma, of course, as we can see over here, it is a little bit, it's fluidy, has a yellowish color, right? And of course it actually helps in the transportation of proteins, nutrients and antibodies, right? Antibiotics, sorry, to the different parts of the body. Then of course, if we talk about, we have our RBC, which after plasma make the majority of the blood. So of course we have the RBCs, and we know that RBCs contain the hemoglobin, which is a very important protein that actually helps in carrying the oxygen, right, and carbon dioxide back. Now, most importantly, it carries the oxygen, which is very, very crucial for all the functioning of the body. Now, the red color of our RBCs is due to the presence of the hemoglobin. So, this is also very clear to us. Then we have WBCs, white blood cells, RBCs, red blood cells. Then, of course, WBCs are also called as the soldiers of the cell, right? And they are the ones that actually help in fighting the infection. Last but not the least, what we have over here are the platelets. Now, platelets are the very, very important factor that actually help in clotting of the blood. If there's a wound, they are the one who will be helping in making sure there's no excess loss of the blood. So everyone, do take a screenshot quickly. And over here, we have the different components of the blood. Now that we are clear with this, let's see what we have. Now, we will be moving ahead, and in detail, we'll be taking a look at the plasma and the cells. So over here we have, so when we talk about the plasma, what are the important functions? It actually helps in building the immunity. Super important thing. It actually helps in building the immunity, make sure to maintain the blood volume, regulates blood pressure, help in the transportation of the tissues, right? The nutrients that are there, they move to the tissue with the help of the plasma, and transport waste or the removal and maintain electrolyte balance in the blood. So plasma being the majority, the major component in the blood, make sure that it is doing its function properly. Then of course we have the different cellular components. We call it as the RBCs, WBCs and the platelets. So plasma is a fluid, whereas we talk about the cellular components, we have three different types of cells: RBCs, WBCs and the platelets. Now we'll be taking a look at the individual function of it. So over here, what we have, you can see we have the RBC, right? Now the RBCs we have, as we have just discussed, have the hemoglobin, right? And they actually help carrying the oxygen throughout the body. Super important. Then, of course, we can see over here the hemoglobin, right? And over here, this is how it will be attached to the hemoglobin. So this plays a very important role. We know that RBCs are really very important, right? Red color is because of the hemoglobin, and they are the one that carries the oxygen. Apart from that, right, apart from the RBC, we have very important WBC, the white blood cells. Now we also call them the soldiers, right? Because they are the one that gives us a defense mechanism, protect us from the various microorganisms. See over here, we can see there's a bacteria, right? There's a white blood cells. So as you can see over here, what they're doing, they're attacking the bacteria. So that is an important role of the white blood cells. In this also we have 5 categories. You will be learning more about them in your higher classes. Moving to the last type of cells, that is we have the platelets. Sorry. Now this actually help in the clotting process. I got confused with platelets and the clotting, so mix those two words. So the cell type is platelets that actually help in the process of clotting. So what is clotting? So let's understand from this particular GIF that we have over here. So if there is a wound, what will happen? Now, as there's a wound on our hand or any part of our body, we know that the blood will ooze out, right? Immediately the blood will start flowing. What will happen as is a cut? We will see that the platelets plug formation will occur. Now, slowly, what will happen? The platelet cells will come over there and they'll start spreading themselves, right? Then, what will happen? As they're coming together and they're forming the plug formation, right? They will be releasing the various clotting factors. Now, these are the factors, and of course, there are a few of the enzymes that actually help in making sure the formation of the clot. Then, as is a release of these chemicals, what will happen? There will be the activation of the fibrin fiber to form the clot. Eventually, the process is that they have to make sure that the blood stops flowing. They will be making sure that blood is not oozing out from the body. And they will form a mesh kind of structure so that no RBCs can pass that. In a very easy way, platelets play a very, very important role in making sure that you're not losing excess blood or any blood at all. So this is very important part. So with this, we can summarize that we have understood the different components of blood. Now what we'll do, we'll move ahead and we will understand the other component of the circulatory system. So now we know the blood is flowing, but where the blood is flowing? Absolutely correct. So similarly, as in a water pump system, we have the pipes. In our body, we have the blood vessels. And in these blood vessels, we know that the blood moves or carries various important nutrients and the different other material. So now we'll be taking a look at the blood vessels. We can broadly divide the blood vessels into three types. We have arteries, veins, and capillaries. So let's understand about all of these. So let's discuss first about the artery. Now this is very important from the exam point of view. So please make sure to stay focused. So let me just change the pen color and here we go. Now arteries are really very special. You know why? Because one of the important thing about the arteries is that carry the blood away from the heart. All the arteries that we have in the body, right in our body, carries the blood away from the heart. Always remember A for away. Okay, so they make sure that whatever blood is there, right from the heart, it just takes away from the heart into different parts. Second important thing, it carries the oxygenated blood. That means that it carries the blood which is rich with oxygen. There is one exception that we'll be learning in your higher classes or in the upcoming classes that we have, and that is the exception of the pulmonary artery. Okay, the most important feature of the artery is that they have the thick walls. See over here we can see that they have thick walls. Now I'm leaving you with a question and I'll be answering it in a minute, but think about it everyone. Why do you think that arteries have thick walls? It will take us some time. It has to do something with the amount of pressure, right, that carries the blood. So arteries have thick walls, right, because they have to endure the pressure because the blood which flows through the arteries, right, flows at a very high pressure, so they have to take it. That is a reason that they have the thick walls. And in arteries, we will not see any valves. Now, valves are nothing but a kind of a structure, right, that will be preventing the backflow of the blood, will be stopping the flow of the blood. That is definitely not there in the arteries because as the blood is flowing at a very high speed, blood does not need any barriers. That is the reason they don't have any valves. So that is all about the artery. I'm moving aside. Do take a screenshot. 1, 2, 3. Now let's talk about the veins. Now veins again are the opposite of artery, we can say. So when we talk about the veins, right? Now veins of course carries the blood to the heart. They are the one that carries the blood towards the heart. They always carry the blood towards the heart. Mostly they carry deoxygenated blood. That means that blood which is not rich with oxygen, it has more of carbon dioxide, and we have one exception over here also, that is pulmonary vein. Now when we look at the structure of the vein only, and we can clearly see that they have thin walls, right? Over here, we can see that they have thin walls. Why? The same reason why the arteries have thicker walls, because over here they have less pressure of the blood. So they don't need to have that thick wall. But one of the important features of the veins is that they have these valves. What we call them as the valves. And these valves actually help in preventing the backflow of the blood. So this is very, very important structural feature of the vein. So with this, we are actually clear, right, about the structure of the artery and structure of the veins. Quickly take a screenshot, and now we'll move to the last part. Now, what are capillaries? So over here, we can see the blue one, right? We usually identify that as a vein, and the red one over here, the arteries. So when the arteries and veins goes deeper and deeper inside the body, what we see? Of course, they have to travel, right? And they have to carry the materials to the cells and to the tissues. So the more and more they goes deep inside the body, they become very, very thin wall. So the capillaries are vessels with only one cell thickness. This is very, very important, right? They just have this, right? So it's very easy for them to have any exchange, right? And this is very, very important characteristic features of the capillary. They carry the blood to the tissues. They have extremely thin wall. A very, very important point, so that the exchange is becoming really very easy. And of course, they help in the exchange of the molecules. So eventually the arteries and the veins will be meeting and they'll be forming the capillaries. This is super important. Please make sure you don't get confused with these terms. Now, let's quickly take a look at a very interesting fact. I was telling, right, this we have this in blue and this in red color. So of course, the myth or the misconception is that the deoxygenated blood or the oxygenated blood which is flowing in our veins are usually blue in color. But that is not the case. We use the blue color for the representation only. But, right, this particular, the deoxygenated blood has less oxygen, which is for sure. So deoxygenated blood is blue in color. Okay, it's completely blue in color, but it has less of the oxygen and more of the carbon dioxide as compared to the oxygenated blood. So that was a misconception, and of course this is the clarity. So please make sure to take this information and do tell your friends about it. It's a very interesting information for all of us. So with this, I would say we have come to an end. So over here, everyone, a very quick summary of what we have studied in today's session. So we have the circulatory system, right? We have heart, which is the pumping organ. We have blood, which have plasma, right, as the non-cellular component, it's fluid. Then we have cellular components like RBCs, WBCs, and platelets. And in the last, we studied about the veins, right? Blood vessels, and in that we have studied about veins, arteries, and capillaries. Do take a screenshot. This question usually come in your examination. And with this, I would say that we are done. But before you leave, everyone, please make sure to write the answer for this homework question. It's a very, very important question, so I would love to see. Do drop your comments and write the answers there. So with this, everyone, we are done. It's a very short and sweet class. And in today's class, we have learned so much about the components of our circulatory system. So please make sure to read through your textbook, right? And if you have some difficulties, you can watch this video later also. And on our channel, we have made a playlist where we have all the videos listed. So please make sure to watch all of those. Now on that note, I'll be leaving. If you're new here, please take a moment and hit the subscribe button. And we will love to see you in class and keep on learning. On that note, everyone, do take care of yourself and keep on learning with BYJU'S. Bye-bye.